Thank you so much for watching, listening. We are continuing our episodes. New series called, this is episode 2, called Flip the Script. Flip the script. And I'm going to flip the script because usually I have a joke at the end, so we're going to start on it at the beginning. And here's your joke. I was reading about atheism, and it turns out it's a non-profit organization. Non-profit, get it? Prophet. I know, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so stupid. I know it is. But of course you want to subscribe. Of course you want to give some feedback, comments and just helpful information, give thumbs up, all that stuff. Really, really good because it really helps me and it also helps our channel to really flourish in all these new algorithms, etc., etc. Anyways, so episode 2, flip the script. What are we getting at? Well, I want us to look for a few minutes at the parable of the Good Samaritan. We read about this in Luke chapter 10. And the parable of the Good Samaritan, if you've heard it before, it's Jesus talking about a dude who had been beat up on a road and left half dead, and a priest came by, ignored him, a Levite came by, ignored him, and then a Samaritan came by and helped him, and the dude recovered because of the Samaritan's kind, good deeds, the Good Samaritan. But when you think about it, that's kind of the brief summary, quick little thumbnail. But when you think about the parable, it's a flipped script. And you say, how do you say that? Well, the parable is an answer to the question that a Jewish lawyer asked Jesus. So in Luke 10, verse 29, the Jewish lawyer says to Jesus, and he's trying to trap Jesus. We know he's trying to trap him from the preceding verses. And he wishes to justify himself, and he asks Jesus, who is my neighbor? Because he had asked Jesus, how do I get eternal life? How do I live? And Jesus said, well, how do you read the law? And he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. So wishing to justify himself, the Jewish lawyer, who's a leader in his community, that's the lawyer's scenario, position, wishing to justify himself, who is my neighbor? So answer this question here in the comments. Have you ever tried to justify yourself? You ever tried to rationalize? Ever tried to say, well, get yourself off the hook? That's what this guy was doing. And you can just, even if you have done that and you're like, I don't want to get into details, well, just leave a thumbs up. That's fine. Totally good. But I think it's important for us to think about this scenario and put ourselves in all of this. Is it possible? Is it possible that I have ever tried to justify myself in a religious way? Likely. But Jesus answers him and tells, who's my neighbor? He tells him the parable. And in the parable, remember, the two people that are religious, the priest and the Levite. A Levite is like basically a temple worker in essence. Simple answer. But those are two people normally in Jewish community and answering a lawyer. Those are two people who would be above reproach, who would be highly revered and honored. And in this parable, Jesus flips the script. And he, in essence, is answering the Jewish leader, the lawyer, and saying, your compatriots, your friends, who would be a priest and a Levite, these guys were not cordial, warm. They were not neighborly. They weren't kind. They weren't compassionate. They weren't attentive. They saw somebody hurt, but they didn't do anything. And instead of making these leaders the hero, he flips the script. And I think in some respects, the lawyer could have been offended. And you kind of see at the end when Jesus circles back to answer his question, the he answers kind of curtly. He doesn't even mention the Samaritan. And the normal anticipated heroes are not the heroes. They're unkind and dismissive, and they lack compassion. And I think Jesus, in the whole scenario, he's flipping the script. He's like, it's not as important for you to be religious as it is important for you to be compassionate. That's the real drive, the real heart here. And so when you think about flipping the script, let's be careful. Let's be conscientious that we are compassionate and that we model Jesus' actions and behaviors and values and priorities. That Jesus was very, very compassionate. Jesus came to seek and save that who was lost. Jesus was compassionate with people who were broken, who behaved in unreligious ways, who were, dysfunctional, and the ones who didn't always have everything right, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Jesus was compassionate. And I think his crankiness sometimes with religious people was to confront and kind of dislodge them from that religious quagmire so that they would receive his love for them. So let's be sure that we flip the script. And then when you think about it, answer this question. How has Jesus been compassionate with you? How has Jesus stepped into your script, flipped and been compassionate with you? I think he's been that way for all of us. But how about you? And you're like, well, I can't think of anything right now. Well, at least say thumbs up. Because I think as you kind of ruminate, at least the thumbs up will kind of put you in the right frame of mind to kind of explore that and discover and realize, ooh, this was Jesus being compassionate. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for giving your comments, your feedbacks. Hit the little notification bell right there. We'll keep you posted when we put up new content. And next week, we're going to continue the series called Flip the Script.